All right, let's go to Joe's topic. Joe, what do you have for us today, man?
Oh man, we're gonna hit the feels today. I hope. I'm a gamer who wears my heart on my sleeve when I play video games. So I have a lot of personal attachments to certain video games at certain points in my life. So my topic is, is there a game out there? You only one or a couple out there um that you have a personal attachment to, whether it's because of like the gameplay or it got you through a certain moment in life, or it just has a certain meaning to you, out there. And it could be Nintendo, it could be another console as well if you have a better story out there for that. But yeah, Pat, I'll start with you.
All right, so my game was actually already brought up, and I was a little scared you guys were gonna beat it up a little bit, but it's Wind Waker, and this is a game that it's not anything emotional or anything, but this was the game I think that I put like all of myself in, and like the game like totally consumed me. I don't know what it was, what if it was the environment or the gameplay. I was so happy that they made a remaster on the Wii U. I thought that that game was beautiful. But I don't know, Wind Waker. I have a few games that I always go back to each year and play, and I always play this at the start of summer. Like that's something I always do. Luigi's Mansion is another one. Not that that's a great game, but like it's something I always get in the mood for Halloween for and stuff like that. But I think Wind Waker is the first game that I was just blown away by. Not because it anything special, but just the whole package. I was like, wow, this is a truly fantastic game. So I would say Wind Waker for me.
Nice, nice. Bobby.
I have a couple that kind of get me a little emotional. Two are real quick, not really that major, like emotional. Like Wind Waker's one. When I go back to Hyrule and I go into Hyrule for the first time, I'm like, wow.
Oh man,
Like that feeling that you're coming through and you're going into the castle. And that's pretty emotional. That's pretty, like, it brings up like feelings of my youth. You know what I mean? That's the same thing I want to say about SteamWorld Dig, the original. Like it brought up. The hell was that?
What was that?
oh, that was bike driving by on my end.
Oh my god!
It's the Bronx. I'm sorry, guys.
Like, what the hell is that noise?
I was like, are we at a speedway right now?
But the reason why Dig is because Dig took me back to a time when I loved gaming, when I was at my peak of gaming. So that's why that one is. The next two kind of drew real feelings out of me, and that's why they are. One is Last of Us. That game was emotionally gripping and so deep, dude. You know, at the beginning, spoilers, when Joel's daughter gets killed, it's just like, oh my god, dude. It just grabs your heart and just drops on the floor and steps on it, man. And it just, the whole building of the relationship between him and Ellie is just really deep and stuff. But the one that's a Nintendo one is Earthbound. I don't want to get into spoiler territory because of the fact of like there's still a lot of people that haven't played this game. But when you get to the end, there's a decision made and you realize the sacrifice that Ness and everybody makes in order to try to save the world. And it is like just, man, it's just like, wow. What, you know what I mean? Like, and it's weird because you got this little kid and it's like he's making this move and he's making this decision and it's like just so powerful and gripping for me. It was, and I literally like was sitting there like feeling myself getting choked up and I'm like, what is going on here? Like, what am I doing? Mother 3 also is really gut wrenching. Like that, I didn't play the whole thing. I played the very beginning of it and I played probably about 10 hours. But dude, that thing like punches you in the stomach over and over and over again through there. There's a few key points that really mess you up. But probably Earthbound would be the kicker and the be all end all for it in terms of emotion and stuff. Like it's really rough. You know what I mean? So that would be for me.
Jeez. I think at least Bobby might know my story. I put it up for his collab, but I know there were certain parts that didn't make it for the sake of time. So I think this was the perfect time to bring up this long form conversation like this.
Yeah.
but Pokemon Red is the first game that I'll always bring up for me as far as like games that got me through a rough time without even noticing it, but realizing it in hindsight. Along with Link's Awakening, Metroid 2, and I was just saying before we started the segment how Metroid 2 is still a pretty bad game, the original Game Boy one. But Pokemon Red specifically was like one of those games when I got it on the original Game Boy, I was like so lost into it. I like I said, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I let everything out, but my mother passed away when I was like 7 years old, so that was around the time Pokemon had come out, probably maybe a year after that, after she had passed, and I was a pretty quiet child from that point onward, and I just kind of like shut myself off and wasn't as like energetic and myself as I was throughout those times. And when I started playing Pokemon Red, that was just like, that got me in. That, then the show came out, and I would just like pop in my headphones, listen to the music, and just play, and get lost for hours upon hours upon hours. And like I felt a sense of accomplishment that like I can do this on my own. I can keep going on. And that was one of those games that like just got me through a ridiculously difficult time in my life. That and like Link's Awakening. That's why I say it's one of my favorite games. Like all my games that I say are my favorite games are based on like personal experiences. There's no like rhyme or reason to like, you know, the gameplay is great or this, that. I like to I gravitate towards the stories. I don't like spoiling Link's Awakening because I feel like that is a game that everyone should play, even for some of its flaws in there. But that ending to this day still gets me for some odd reason. And it's just weird. It is a very simple ending, but it's like all the work that you put into, and then this thing happens. It's just like, wow, that it just still strikes like some weird, strange emotion for some odd reason. I have no idea why.
Yeah.
And then
want to give a.
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah. Oh no, sorry. And then Metroid 2 was just like that. That just is a weird game that made me realize I have like this strange photographic memory that I can remember areas. I didn't have to draw up maps or anything to play that game. Like I was just able to remember everywhere I needed to go because there was no map that you can pop up in that game. That game was very evil for its time, hunting the 39 Metroids in there.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I just want to give a quick shout out to Breath of the Wild real quick. I was gonna say Breath of the Wild's, not that it did anything for me personally, but like that was the first game that I played on my Switch. Most people play it on their Switch. And at one point I was just walking around and I put my controller down and I was just like looking at everything that was going on, animals moving by, like the wind, the music, and it's just like, dude, this is a special game, and I'm really pulling for this game to win Game of the Year. I know that it will. I don't know how it doesn't, like, but I don't know. I just wanted to,
because revisionist history is starting to take over now. There's a lot of people as we get deeper in the year. I always thought that I felt like it might have came too early, that people might start beating it up as we get deeper into the year. That game actually drew tears. That actually made me cry. There was a moment in that game that I was just like, holy crap, dude. And it's one of the memories, so I don't want to get into it because it might, it might get people pissed. But it just, oh, dude, that game is so... When you find them, like, it made me start hunting memories. Like, legit. Like, after I got a couple of them, and I felt like the emotion, I was like, I got to go find them all. And I just started running all over the place just trying to find them because it was just like, this is what I want about this game. That's why, like I was saying the other day on If We Were at Nintendo, that like I want more story. I want like a more story-driven Zelda game because, dude, that little bit that they gave me, the little bit of story they threw in this one, totally drew out like a lot of emotion out of me. So I would love to see them, because when they do stories and they do it deep and hard, it's really emotional, man. They can really do some stuff.